Discipline changes everything. Introduction: the invisible force behind every great life. Talent is admired. Intelligence is respected. Luck is envied. But discipline? Discipline is what quietly changes ordinary people into extraordinary ones. Behind every successful athlete, entrepreneur, artist, student, leader, and visionary is one common trait: the ability to do what must be done, even when they don't feel like doing it. Discipline is not exciting in the beginning. It feels repetitive. It feels uncomfortable. Sometimes it even feels lonely. Yet discipline is the foundation of every meaningful achievement. People often wait for motivation before they take action. But motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like the weather. Discipline is different. Discipline shows up on good days and bad days. It works when emotions disappear. It keeps moving when excitement fades. Discipline changes everything because it changes you. It changes the way you think. It changes the way you act. It changes your habits. It changes your confidence. And eventually, it changes your entire life. The truth is simple. Your future is not built by what you do occasionally. Your future is built by what you do consistently. And consistency is born from discipline. Chapter 1: The difference between interest and commitment. Many people are interested in success. Very few are committed to it. Interest says, I'll do it when I feel ready. Commitment says, I'll do it whether I feel ready or not. That is the power of discipline. Anyone can work hard when they feel motivated. Anyone can chase a dream when everything is exciting. But real growth begins when the excitement disappears and the work remains. Discipline is continuing after the motivation leaves. Imagine two people starting the same journey. The first person works only when inspired. The second person works every single day. At first, they may seem equal. But after 1 year, their lives look completely different. Why? Because small, disciplined actions create massive, long-term results. One workout may not change your body. One book may not change your mind. One day of saving money may not change your finances. But repeated daily actions, those change everything. Success is rarely about one giant moment. It is usually about thousands of invisible moments nobody sees. The early mornings, the extra practice, the quiet sacrifices, the decision to continue when quitting feels easier. Discipline is choosing your future over your feelings. Chapter 2: Discipline builds confidence. Most people think confidence comes first. It doesn't. Confidence comes from keeping promises to yourself. Every time you say, I will wake up early, and you actually do it, you build trust with yourself. Every time you say, I will finish this task, and you complete it, you become stronger mentally. Confidence is earned through action. Many people feel insecure because deep inside, they know they constantly break promises to themselves. They say they'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next year. Eventually, they stop trusting themselves. Discipline repairs that broken trust. When you consistently do difficult things, your mind begins to believe, I can depend on myself. That changes everything. A disciplined person walks differently, speaks differently, thinks differently. Not because life became easier, but because they became stronger. Chapter 3. Your habits create your future. Your life is not controlled by your goals. Your life is controlled by your habits. Goals give direction. Habits determine progress. A person who reads 10 pages every day will eventually become knowledgeable. A person who exercises consistently will eventually become healthy. A person who practices a skill daily will eventually become exceptional. The problem is that people underestimate small actions. They want instant transformation. But life doesn't work that way. Discipline understands the power of repetition. Tiny actions repeated consistently create extraordinary outcomes. A single drop of water seems weak, but over time, dripping water can carve through stone. That is what disciplined habits do. Every day, you are becoming someone. Every action is a vote for the person you are becoming. When you wake up early, you vote for discipline. When you study instead of procrastinating, you vote for growth. When you control your emotions, you vote for maturity. Your habits are shaping your identity. The question is, what kind of person are your daily actions creating? Chapter 4. Discipline defeats excuses. Excuses are comfortable. Discipline is uncomfortable. That is why excuses are so dangerous. Excuses sound reasonable. I'm too tired. I don't have time. I'll start later. I'm waiting for the right moment. But the truth is harsh. The perfect moment never arrives. Successful people are not people without problems. They are people who act despite problems. Discipline destroys excuses because it focuses on responsibility instead of emotions. A disciplined person understands results do not care about excuses. If you skip workouts for 6 months, your body will reflect it. If you waste years avoiding growth, your life will reflect it. Life responds to actions, not intentions. Everyone has dreams. Few people have discipline. And discipline is what separates dreamers from achievers. Chapter 5. The pain of discipline versus the pain of regret. Discipline is painful. Waking up early is painful. Studying is painful. Training is painful. Sacrifice is painful. But there is another pain that is far worse. The pain of regret. Regret whispers, you could have done more. You wasted your potential. You gave up too soon. The pain of discipline is temporary. The pain of regret can last forever. Years from now, people rarely regret working hard. They regret quitting. They regret waiting. They regret living below their potential. Discipline demands sacrifice today so you can experience freedom tomorrow. Without discipline, life becomes controlled by weakness, distraction, and bad habits. With discipline, you take control of your future. Chapter 6. Discipline creates freedom. Many people think discipline removes freedom. Actually, discipline creates freedom. Financial discipline creates financial freedom. Health discipline creates physical freedom. Mental discipline creates emotional freedom. Time discipline creates life freedom. Without discipline, people become slaves to their impulses. They waste money impulsively. They waste time endlessly. They chase temporary pleasure while destroying long-term happiness. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect. A disciplined person understands delayed gratification. They are willing to sacrifice temporary comfort for long-term success. That mindset changes lives. Chapter 7. The Battle Against Distraction. We live in the age of distraction. Phones constantly demand attention. Social media steals focus. Entertainment never stops. Millions of people are busy all day, but accomplish nothing meaningful. Discipline protects your focus. Focus is one of the most valuable skills in the modern world. The ability to concentrate deeply while others are distracted gives you a massive advantage. Every distraction steals pieces of your future. Hours disappear scrolling endlessly. Days disappear procrastinating. Years disappear avoiding difficult work. Discipline says, focus on what matters. The people who master focus will dominate the future. Chapter 8. Discipline during difficult times. Anyone can stay positive when life is easy. True discipline appears during difficult seasons. When life becomes painful, when failure happens, when nobody supports you, when progress feels invisible, that is when discipline matters most. Discipline means continuing, even when emotions collapse. Some of the strongest people in the world are not the most talented. They are the people who refuse to quit during hard times. Storms reveal strength. A disciplined person keeps moving forward, even slowly, because they understand small progress is still progress. Chapter 9. Self-control is power. The strongest person is not the loudest person. The strongest person is the one who can control themselves. Self-control is real power. Controlling anger, controlling laziness, controlling fear, controlling temptation. Discipline teaches emotional mastery. Without discipline, emotions control decisions. With discipline, values control decisions. That difference changes relationships, careers, finances, and futures. A disciplined mind becomes calm under pressure, focused during chaos, stable during uncertainty. That kind of strength is rare. Chapter 10. Discipline and Success. Every level of success requires a new level of discipline. People admire success, but ignore the sacrifice behind it. Behind success are countless unseen moments, late nights, early mornings, failures, rejections, consistency. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. No dream works unless you do. The world rewards people who stay consistent long enough to become excellent. Most people quit too early. They stop after failure. They stop after criticism. They stop after slow progress. But disciplined people continue. And eventually, consistency beats talent. Chapter 11. The Power of Starting Small. Many people fail because they try to change everything overnight. Real discipline begins with small wins. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Read 10 pages daily. Exercise for 20 minutes. Save a small amount consistently. Small disciplines create powerful momentum. Success grows step by step. A tiny improvement repeated every day becomes transformation over time. Do not underestimate small beginnings. Massive trees begin as tiny seeds. Chapter 12. Discipline changes identity. At first, discipline feels forced. But eventually, discipline becomes identity. You stop saying, "I'm trying to be productive." Instead, you become productive. You stop saying, "I'm trying to be healthy." Instead, you become healthy. Your repeated actions shape who you are. Discipline transforms identity from the inside out. Chapter 13. Discipline in relationships. Discipline is not only about work and success. It also changes relationships. Healthy relationships require discipline. The discipline to communicate honestly. The discipline to remain loyal. The discipline to listen. The discipline to control ego and anger. Many relationships fail not because of lack of love, but because of lack of maturity and self-control. Discipline creates trust. Trust creates strong relationships. And once discipline becomes identity, success becomes natural. Chapter 14. The compound effect of discipline. Discipline works like compound interest. The results are invisible at first. One workout changes little. One day of studying changes little. One disciplined decision changes little. But over months and years, everything changes. Most people quit because they cannot see immediate results. Disciplined people trust the process. They understand that greatness is built slowly. One day, the invisible work becomes visible success, and people call it luck. Chapter 15. Becoming unstoppable. When discipline becomes part of your character, you become difficult to defeat. Not because you never fail, but because you never stop. Discipline creates resilience. You recover faster. You stay focused longer. You keep improving while others quit. Eventually, disciplined people reach places that talented but inconsistent people never reach. Why? Because persistence is powerful. The person who keeps going often wins. Conclusion. Your life changes when you do. Discipline changes everything because it changes the person staring back at you in the mirror. It changes your mindset, your habits, your confidence, your future. The life you want is not built in one day. It is built daily. Every disciplined decision matters. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you become stronger. The truth is, your future self is watching your daily choices. One day, you will either thank yourself for being disciplined or regret wasting your potential. You do not need perfect conditions. You do not need endless motivation. You do not need to feel ready. You only need to start. Start tired. Start scared. Start imperfect. But start. Because discipline is not just about changing your habits.
discipline changes everything.
A motivational storytelling. There was once a young man named Daniel. Daniel lived in a small apartment in a noisy city. Every morning, he woke up late, rushed through his day, and promised himself that tomorrow would be different. Tomorrow never changed. His room was messy. His dreams stayed unfinished. His health got worse. And deep inside, Daniel felt like life was slipping away from him. But the strange thing was, Daniel had dreams bigger than anyone around him. He wanted success. He wanted freedom. He wanted a better life for his family. Every night, he watched motivational videos. Every night, he told himself, one day, I'll become successful. But days became months. Months became years. And nothing changed. One rainy evening, Daniel sat alone at a bus stop after losing another job opportunity. He looked around and saw people rushing through the streets, each carrying their own struggles. That night, something inside him broke. Not from sadness, not from anger, from realization. For the first time in his life, Daniel stopped blaming luck. He stopped blaming his past. He stopped blaming other people. And he asked himself one painful question. What if the problem is me? The question haunted him. When he arrived home, he stood in front of the mirror for a long time. He saw tired eyes, broken confidence, unfinished goals. And then he whispered, if I don't change now, my life will never change. That night became the turning point. Not because everything magically improved, but because Daniel made one decision: to become disciplined. The next morning, his alarm rang at 5 a.m. His body wanted sleep. His mind screamed excuses. Start tomorrow. You're too tired. One more hour won't hurt. But Daniel remembered the pain of staying the same. So he got up. That first morning was hard. Very hard.
The room was cold. The streets were dark, and nobody was there cheering for him. But he started running anyway. Slowly, silently, alone. One day became 3 days. 3 days became 2 weeks. Soon, Daniel began building small habits. He cleaned his room every morning. He started reading books. He exercised daily. He stopped wasting hours scrolling on his phone. The changes were small at first. Nobody noticed. His friends laughed at him. Why are you acting different? Relax and enjoy life. You're doing too much. Sometimes Daniel doubted himself. Sometimes he wanted to quit. But every time he felt weak, he remembered something important. His old habits created his old life. If he wanted a new life, he needed new discipline. Months passed. Daniel became stronger, not just physically, mentally. He began showing up on time. He focused deeply on his work. He learned new skills every night while others wasted time. Slowly, opportunities appeared. One company offered him a small position. The salary wasn't impressive. The work was difficult. But Daniel accepted it with gratitude. While others complained, Daniel stayed disciplined. He arrived early, worked harder, learned faster. His boss noticed. Within a year, Daniel earned a promotion. For the first time in years, he felt proud of himself. Not because of money, because he finally trusted himself. That was the real transformation.
Discipline had changed the way he saw himself. Years later, Daniel stood on a stage speaking to thousands of people. The same young man who once felt lost was now inspiring others. People asked him, "What changed your life?" They expected him to mention luck, connections, talent. But Daniel smiled and said, "Nothing changed overnight. I changed my habits. I changed my mindset. I became disciplined." The room fell silent. Then he continued, "Discipline saved my life. Not motivation, not talent. Discipline." He looked into the crowd and said something nobody forgot. Every dream has a price. And the price is consistency. At that moment, people realized something powerful. Success is not built in giant moments. It is built in the small decisions nobody sees.
Waking up early, working when tired, staying focused, refusing to quit. Daniel's story was not special because he was extraordinary. It was special because he was ordinary. And if an ordinary person can transform through discipline, anyone can. Maybe today, someone listening feels stuck. Maybe they feel behind in life. Maybe they failed too many times. But failure is not the end. Lack of discipline is. The moment you become disciplined, your future begins to change. Not instantly, but permanently. Because discipline changes your habits. Habits change your actions. Actions change your character. And character changes destiny. So tonight, ask yourself, what would my life look like if I became disciplined for 1 year? 1 year of consistency. 1 year of focus. 1 year of refusing excuses. Your entire life could change. Remember this. Small, disciplined actions, repeated daily, create extraordinary results. The strongest people are not always the smartest, not always the richest, not always the most talented. They are simply the people who refuse to stop. And one day, their discipline changes everything. 10 powerful quotes about discipline. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. Your future is created by what you do consistently, not occasionally. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. Small daily disciplines become life-changing results. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts forever. Success begins the moment excuses end. Discipline turns ordinary people into unstoppable forces. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you become stronger. A disciplined mind can conquer fear, distraction, and failure. Discipline changes your habits change your life.